Time now for another Discuss vid. And if you have an idea for a future episode that I've yet to do, be sure and check the Discuss playlist first. Feel free and send your Discuss topics my way below in the comments section via Twitter, Facebook, or Discord. All the social media to the GeauxBurns Nation linked below in the description section. And this is going to make up the trilogy regarding video game violence. First off, we had Violence, the vlog, over on the Vlogs channel, also linked below in the description section. Then this past Sunday, with the rant, we ranted about M-rated games and how they're being scapegoated by certain individuals in order to lay the blame on why we have mass shootings in the United States. So, if you haven't watched those two videos, I recommend you go check out my violence vlog, as well as the M-rated games rant, in order to get an idea where we're going to go with this video. I'll go ahead and I'll link those two videos below in the description section as well. So, we have several political leaders in my country blaming video games, even though violent video games are sold throughout the world. And the reality is, kids are playing a lot of these video games, like Grand Theft Auto and countless other games that have like either an M-rated or even a higher rating like adults only, for example. But there is a rating system in place that is supposed to, well, kind of curtail kids from playing these games. In the United States, it's called the ESRB. The Entertainment Software Ratings Board, this is coming from Wikipedia, is an American self-regulatory organization that assigns age and content ratings to consumer video games. The ESRB was established in 1994 by the Entertainment Software Association in response to criticism of controversial video games with excessively violent or sexual content. The ESRB rating system is enforced via voluntary leverage of the North American video game and retail industries. Most stores require customers to present photo identification when purchasing games carrying the ESRB's highest age ratings and do not stock games which have not been rated. Additionally, major console manufacturers will not license games for their systems unless they carry ESRB ratings. However, there are critics of the ESRB. They've asserted that the organization has a conflict of interest because of its vested interest in the video game industry, and that the ESRB does not rate certain games such as the Grand Theft Auto series harshly enough for their violent or sexual content in order to protect their commercial viability. Alright, so if you want to read the rest regarding the history, the backstory about the ESRB, feel free to do so. What we're going to focus on is the different rating systems, the different levels over at ESRB's official website, esrb.org. So we'll start off at the bottom. We have everyone, which is E. Content is generally suitable for all ages, may contain minor cartoon, fantasy, or mild violence, and are infrequent use of mild language. Everyone 10 plus. Content generally suitable for ages 10 and up, may contain more cartoon, fantasy, or mild violence, mild language, and are minimum suggestive themes. Then we move on to the more interesting games. Teen, which is T. Content is suitable for ages 13 and up, may contain violence, suggestive themes, crude humor, minimal blood, simulated gambling, and are infrequent use of strong language. Now we get to the big two, and this is the two levels where a lot of these, quote-unquote violent video games reside. Mature, the M-rated category. Content is generally suitable for ages 17 and up, may contain intense violence, blood, and gore, sexual content, and are strong language. And finally, we have adults only, which is the AO rating. Content suitable for only adults age 18 and up. May include prolonged scenes of intense violence, sexual graphic content, and are gambling with real currency. And then there's also the rating pending for all games that have yet to be rated by the ESRB. So why are we talking about the ESRB in today's Discuss video? Well, obviously because of recent events tragically in Florida over 2 weeks ago today, when 17 people were killed in that violent shooting, and you have a lot of people out there blaming various things. And unfortunately, the video game industry is being targeted by certain political officials. And as somebody who's been playing video games his whole life, including violent video games, as I've pointed out in the violence vlog and the M-rated games rant from a few days ago, it hasn't made me a violent person. I haven't, gone out and done any of this horrible stuff, and the majority of gamers haven't either, because we understand the difference between fantasy and reality. Now, everyone's proposing solutions on how to prevent kids from playing violent video games. Well, the ESRB exists in order to prevent kids from getting their hands on these violent video games, like the M-rated games, 17 and up, AO games, 18 and up, which means that in order to go to, say, a GameStop or a Best Buy or any other retailer that sells video games, you have to have a photo identification, a state driver's license that says that you're at least 17 years old to get an M-rated game, or at least 18 years old to get an A-rated game. And you hardly ever see any AO-rated games in stores. Mostly you see rated T for teen and rated M for mature. So right there, that means that the kids that are playing games that might be a little too violent for them, say kids, not even in their teens or tweens that are playing like Grand Theft Auto, other violent games as well, are doing so because their parents or legal guardians have purchased the said game for them. So in the end, it falls to the responsibility of parents and legal guardians to go look at the game your kid or kids are interested in and say, wait a minute, this game that my kid really wants to play is rated M. My child is only 11 years old. Therefore, maybe he or she shouldn't be playing this M-rated game. And the same thing goes for like A-rated games. I mean, kids definitely don't need to be playing A-rated games. So I don't think that going after the video game industry is a solution here. However, maybe we should, have a discussion about, parents, legal guardians being more responsible for what kids play. Prime example, you wouldn't let your kid go to an R-rated movie by themselves, and any kid that showed up to the theater wanting to go watch Gorefest 3, who's, obviously underage, sorry kid, this is rated R. You're only 12 years old. We can't let you into the theater, because if it came out that we let a 12-year-old without an adult come in and buy a ticket and go watch Gorefest 3, then obviously the theater would get in trouble over that, because just like with video games, movies have a rating system. And yes, no rating system is perfect. Look at Jaws back in the 70s. It was rated PG. What's clearly a rated R movie. And the same thing could be said about the Grand Theft Auto series. Maybe the Grand Theft Auto series shouldn't be rated M. Maybe it should be rated AO. So maybe the ESRB just needs to look at some of their games and say, okay, these games, maybe we want to bump them up from M to AO. I mean, I'm still going to buy Grand Theft Auto games. I'm still going to buy Red Dead Redemption 2 if it comes out as an AO-rated game. That's not going to stop me and most, Red Dead Redemption fans or most Grand Theft Auto fans. But at the same time, it could go a long ways towards making sure that, early age children, teens and tweens that are too young for these games aren't able to get them, and might even, make their parents, take pause and be like, wait a minute, this game is adults only. I don't know if I want to get this for my 10-year-old. But in conclusion, just like I've pointed out in my past two videos we just mentioned, Violence Vlog as well as the M-Rated Games Vlog, you can't just blame violence in video games, because violence is part of our culture, it's part of our history, and if you're going to go after violent video games, where does it stop? You're going to have to go after violent TV shows like The Walking Dead. You're going to have to go after violent movies. You're going to have to go after violent, graphic novels and violent comics and violent books and violent plays, written by Shakespeare, and violent stories from like back in the days of ancient Greek, with the Iliad and the Odyssey, as my friend Silver pointed out, from the ACG podcast. Ironically, he and I were having this discussion while we were playing Grand Theft Auto online on PC the other night. And yeah, Violence is nothing new in human culture. But at the same time, we do have a responsibility to explain to, the impressionable youth that there is a difference between violence in a TV show, in a movie, in a book, in a comic book, in a graphic novel, as well as in a video game, compared to violence going on in the real world.